issue of the EU saying that possibly the UK has gone too quickly. Obviously, the EU has its own procedures, but in a way, it might be some sort of fodder for anti-vaxxers.
Well, it's not helpful, is it, Adnan? I mean, you know, there's already concern about vaccine hesitancy, that people are panicking the fact that this vaccine has been created in 10 months rather than 10 years. So for the EMA, the European Medicines Agency, to say something like that, to put a question mark over the UK's decision to roll out the vaccine from next week, really doesn't help. So I spoke to a couple of experts this morning. Now, they are both in the UK, so you could say they're biased, but they are international experts in their field. And one of them, Dr. Simon Clark, was quite robust in his response, because he said, look, all the data that's given to the MHRA, which is the UK's regulatory body, is the same that's also given to the European regulatory body and also to the FDA in America. He said the trials have been done, the data is exactly the same. So why the EMA is suggesting that it's got more work to do, he simply doesn't understand. In fact, he said very robustly, if they've got any evidence, any proof that we have rushed this, they should share that. His words were, put up or shut up. You know, he said basically you could turn the question round and you could say, why are they taking so long to do this? Why are they, you know, dilly-dallying when we obviously need to have people vaccinated as soon as possible? Now, one of the reasons why the UK is able to do things much more quickly, and it's not to do with Brexit, which of course has been claimed by a couple of our politicians here in the UK, and they've been shot down in flames by German ministers about this, is simply because the MHRA is only having to answer to queries here in the UK, whereas the European Medicine Agency has 27 countries who are asking them questions. So, of course, it's going to take a lot longer for them to align all their information. Dr. Penny Ward, and I'm going to give you her exact title, she's the visiting professor in pharmaceutical medicine at King's College London, and she's chair of the Education and Standards Committee of the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Medicine. So she was writing, before this criticism, she was writing in response, but she was explaining the timing and how it is different when it's done in Europe. And she said they have to align the independent views from 27 separate member states. They also then have to consult something called the Committee on Human Medicinal Products, the CHMP, and that has fixed meeting dates set throughout the year. So that slows things down. Ordinarily, the CHMP can take between 6 months and a year to give approval to something, whereas here in the UK, because it's the MHRA, they can do it themselves. And the head of that organisation, and I'm sorry, I'm giving you alphabet soup here with all the different initials of all these agencies, but Dr. Jean Rain, she has said very strongly, they haven't cut corners here in the UK. It's just the fact that they were working 24/7, they were going through all the data, and that's how they've been able to give this approval so quickly. And of course, it is also worth pointing out that here in the UK, we've done really badly with COVID-19. We've got the highest number of deaths in Europe. So that's one of the reasons why they're trying to ensure people are vaccinated as soon as possible.
Yeah, another country that's doing particularly badly is Russia, and Vladimir Putin now says the Sputnik 5 vaccine is ready for mass distribution. And he says, importantly, possibly, that it's going to be voluntary. And it seems as if it's voluntary so far in most countries in the world. There are some governments thinking, do we possibly dare to make it compulsory? But Sputnik 5, that's another one. Sinovac, Turkey is getting some doses of the Sinovac vaccine, the Chinese one. Moderna is looking for FDA approval in the United States. Things are moving quickly here, Nicola. Both the British and the American governments over the past couple of weeks, they've said by April or May, we should be seeing some sort of return to normality in terms of how we're able to live.
Yeah, well, that's certainly hopeful, isn't it? And that's what we're expecting. Of course, there's a couple of points here about Sputnik 5. 100,000 people have already been given it, including the President's daughter, but we haven't seen the evidence. Dr. Clark says it's science by press release were his exact words on this one. The fact that we're getting the news from Russia, but the scientists worldwide are not able to see the evidence. They claim it's 92% effective, but that's just their claim. Of course, that's a vaccine that's similar to the Oxford one. It's not this new mRNA one. It's more traditional, where it's a human virus, a cold virus that's being used to bring the spike protein into the human body. Are we going to be back to normal April to May? Well, it was very interesting speaking to Dr. Clark, because he said all these vaccines are being tested in an unusual real-world environment by the fact that we are taking precautions, we're wearing masks, we're washing our hands. So that means that the R rate, the reproduction rate of the virus, is about 1, whereas ordinarily it would be 3. And he says that although it's great, it's wonderful that we've got all these vaccines, what we don't know yet is whether they stop the spread of the virus. Now, I asked him to explain that in a very simple way, and he says it's already shown in polio. For example, you're vaccinated against polio, you come into contact with the polio virus, you're not made sick, but evidence has shown that you have the virus in your gut. We don't know yet whether these vaccines against COVID-19 not only prevent you from becoming sick, but actually prevent the virus from entering your body. And we're only going to know that with time.
Time is going to be so important, isn't it, Nicola? Nicola, thank you so much indeed. Our health correspondent, Nicola Hill.